Thank you very much, Ted. Thank you very much to the Washington County Public Affairs Forum. I really appreciate your time and inviting me here with the other candidates. And it's good to see Pavel again. I first ran against Pavel, you may remember, because I spoke here. Well, actually, we were over at, I believe it was McMenamins in Cedar Hills in 2000 when I ran against Mark Hass for the state rep. I then ran again against Mark Hass. I have a tendency to, I don't really think he's the most successful candidate, so I try to run against him whenever I get a chance. So I ran against him when he ran for state senate, and I also spoke to you most recently for the May election for Tualatin Hills Park and Recreation District. I appreciate you taking the time to consider my viewpoints. A lot of you already know, but I'll just do a quick little bio. I have raised 3 boys on my own with a lot of help from their dad. I divorced, and 2 of them have chosen to honor me by going to my alma mater, the University of Kansas, and they're both there now. One's a freshman, and the other one's in his 3rd year. I'm not quite sure if I want to call him a junior yet. And then I've got a son who's in 8th grade at Valley Catholic. And they've been educated in both the public school here in Beaverton, through middle school, my older boys, and through 4th grade with my younger son. I got into this race because the federal government is on life support, in my opinion. It has gotten so bad that we've got to have, and we've got to send a rock-solid conservative to Washington, D.C. to represent Oregon. We have no skin in the game. We had one of the biggest tea parties down there in Pioneer Square on tax day in 2009. I mean, there was over 1,000 people there. I don't know if you were lucky enough to be there, but it was an amazing event. People just picked up their signs, made their own signs, and just showed up. There's no membership to the Tea Party. There's no, guiding force that is organizing them. It's just people like you and me that are fed up. We can't have this. Let me just show you a little graph, and it might be hard for you to see down there, but it's important that you see this, and you can see it's color-coded. Okay, here it is. If you can look at it, the red lines are Republican Congresses. Okay? And the rising number is the rising number of jobs created. If you can see this, the Republicans do nothing but increase jobs. Then when the Democrats moved in, it hovered around there for a while. It takes them a while to really destroy an economy, the Democrats in Congress. And then it plummeted under Democrat Congresses. We forget, we a lot of times think, oh, it's Bush and Bush and Bush. Well, Bush had a Democrat Congress for the last 2 years of administration. The Dow Jones Industrials went up the highest under George Bush, went up to over 14,000, and a lot of people forget that. It was while the Democrats had moved in, it was in 2007, and they were still picking out their drapes and devising their evil plan to destroy jobs. And then it plummeted. It plummeted after my cousin and almost 3,000 other people were murdered in the worst terrorist attack in our country's history on September 11th, 2001. It plummeted to around 8,000 some odd. That's pretty low. Plummeted a lot. But under Democrat rule in Congress, and with the Democrat president that had just moved in, and the confidence of job creators dropping to an all-time low, it dropped to just over 6,000. The Dow Jones Industrial went down to 8,000 something after 9/11, and after Obama and 2.5 years of Democrat rule, it dropped to 6,000 plus. I think it was like 6,500 and something in October of 2007. And now we get all excited that we get up to close to 12,000. Well, it was up to 14,000 under George Bush. We can't do this anymore. It happens because business creators have been vilified and been told that they have to pay more, and that there's these willy-nilly, over 2,000 executive orders have been issued by this president this year alone. How can you run a business if you can't even plan for the next year? How can you run a business and hire people if you have no idea how much they're going to tax you? How much your health care costs are going to cost with this abomination of a health care bill? That's job one. You elect Lisa Michaels to go to Washington, D.C., I am your representative. Whether you agree with my viewpoints right now or not, you will have access to Lisa Michaels. I'm going to continue to do my live television show. I'm going to stream it on the internet, on Ustream. I have a show called Live with Lisa Michaels. I've been doing it for the last 2 years, 5 hours a week, every week, 52 weeks a year for the last 2 years. Live with Lisa Michaels. I begin with local talent, then I talk love chat, which is a universal topic that even people that are not political like to chat about. And then I go into what I call current events or unreported news. And when I'm in Washington, D.C., I'll have a regular show, and I will invite you to tune in, to Skype in, to call in, to text in, and I will keep you updated, because the only person that owns my vote in Washington, D.C. is you. I'm not taking big money from big contributors and big PAC groups that are going to have me like a marionette hopping to whenever they say so. I am going to be the true public servant. And I'm also going to follow the foundation of our country, which is the Constitution established by our founding fathers. They had in mind a citizen congressman. Now, people say, oh, what experience do you have? Well, you know what? I think the experience of being a citizen and being a worker and being in the private sector and marketing and working with businesses is what I do when I meet with people about their advertising. I need to find out what it's going to take to get more people through their doors so that they can make more of a profit, and how we can best market to their demographic. So I think it's vitally important that our congressmen, our citizen congressmen who go there not for a career, not for self-aggrandizement, but just to represent you. So you have a voice in Washington, D.C., and so that we have some hope that we can turn this massive ship around. It's going to be hard. I'm not going to fool you. It's going to be hard. A lot of damage has been done in the last few years, and George Bush is a big part of the problem too, and a lot of the Republicans. There's been massive spending on that, but this Democrat Congress and Obama have dwarfed anything that George W. Bush ever in his wildest dreams would have possibly conceived of. And I really hope that you'll seriously consider voting for Lisa Michaels to represent your viewpoints in Washington, D.C. Thank you for your time.